Well, they'll also be dancing in the streets of Newport.
Newport, yes.
Hello, boyo.
Now, you claimed earlier in another tweet that nobody's ever heard of Newport. Nobody knows where it is.
Haven't they?
That's absolute nonsense. I'll tell you what I know about Newport.
Pagnell is more famous than Newport.
No, it's not. No. You see, again, this is very London-centric of you. For somebody who claims to be from the north of England and who's not at all London-centric, you should be much, much more available to sort of welcome other parts of the world, particularly from parts of Britain, into the London-centric mind that you have.
All I'm saying is it's a great day for Newport. They had a great result.
Do you know what's even better for them?
Leeds United out of the FA Cup.
Do you know what's even better for them? I was watching the manager of Newport coming on down at Valley Parade. Is it Rodney Parade?
Yeah, Rodney
Parade.
Yeah.
I used to drive past it, you see, because don't forget, when I worked in Wales as the editor of the Welsh Daily Mirror,
hello, boyo.
You know, I used to spend a lot of time on that particular South Wales corridor.
Of course,
from the Severn Bridge into Swansea, right?
That's right.
And into Cardiff.
Past Cardiff, Swansea.
Past Newport. And one of the things that happened while I was there was the Celtic Manor was built.
Oh, right,
which is one of the most fabulous kind of hotel resort complexes in the world.
I agree.
All right, and they got they got the Ryder Cup.
Yes, that's right.
And people were horrified because people said, "Can you imagine Tiger Woods taking a trip out of the front door of the Celtic Manor into his chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce and saying, 'Can you please take me into the local town? Because I'd quite like to pick up some of
town?
Well, Newport.
Newport.
I'd like to get a bit of the local flavour.'
Yeah,
people were completely horrified because in those days Newport was simply an absolute dump and a dive of the worst order.
Well, that's a bit harsh.
No, it's not harsh. I used to go there.
It has character. It has character.
No, it didn't have any character. All it had was gangs of people roaming around, robbing you if you didn't like the look of them in the middle of the night.
That's a terrible thing to say about any town.
No, I'm telling you.
It was a lawless problem in Newport.
There was a law problem in Newport. I used to be very close to the guys that ran the rugby team as well in Newport, you know, and they all had to be very careful. It was Newport Rugby Club, obviously.
No, but weren't they like Newport Falcons?
No, they didn't. They didn't do that in those days. It was before they started calling clubs ridiculous names. But there was a guy who came over who was grandfathered in when Graham Henry was the coach of Wales. He was obviously from New Zealand. He was a Kiwi, and he realised that the Welsh rugby team wasn't very good. So he decided it'd be a good idea to bring over some Kiwis and pretend that they were Welsh.
Right.
So the first guy he brought over was named Shane somebody. I can't remember his second name. And he ended up being put into the Newport team.
Right.
And he was a brilliant player.
Right.
And he played rugby for Wales. And he was supposed to have had a Welsh grandfather, which was very, very dodgy indeed.
Well, it doesn't matter. You know, you've got a tennis connection. Doesn't matter.
Well, it does matter because the rules are the rules. Anyway, so I used to spend quite a lot of time in Newport, and it was a horrendous, ghastly, awful place. One of the worst places I've ever been to.
That's a shocking thing to say.
No, but my thing is based upon knowledge rather than yours, which is nobody's ever heard of it. And the other problem that Newport had, of course, was that it was so close to the M4 that the only people that found their way in there were people who were looking for petrol or people who were looking for a place to stay for the night. And the fact that the Celtic Manor resort was put in Newport has not helped Newport one iota.
So you're saying that Newport to this day is full of scumbags and a great unwashed. That's what you're saying. That's a very unkind thing to say.
You see, again, you're trying to jump on something and make me feel unpopular.
You said they're horrendous people who go around robbing everybody else.
That's not what I said. Why don't you listen once in a while to what I said?
I
told you at a time when I was there, that was what it was like. Now, that was a long time ago. I don't know.
It's not that long ago.
You know, I have not been
20 years?
I have not been to Newport since, I would say, around about 2001.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so you're talking 16 years ago. Now, not quite as long as you haven't been in Nottingham before. But we'd love to hear from somebody in Newport, because one of the stories I heard today, which warmed the cockles of my heart, was that one of the reasons they're very happy about getting this money, because they've got into the fourth round of the FA Cup, is that apparently their training ground, went on fire at the beginning of the week. Now, I don't know whether somebody set it on fire, I don't know whether it just sort of went up in flames.
Maybe somebody from one of these roaming gangs of robbers have gone and set fire to the training ground.
All I'm saying is they currently don't even have a training ground because it was set fire to.
Right.
So, you know, they've got problems down there.
Lose a bit of the money that... TV money and all that.
It'll be very good for them. And I'm delighted, frankly, because there's a lot of good people in Newport, a lot of good people that live there.
You've changed your tune.
No, I haven't. You're such an idiot. Why are you such an idiot? I can tell you about the state of a city. I can tell you about the state of London, for example.
Newport?
Newport is a city. Yes, it is. I call it a city. I'm calling it a city.
It's a town.
Well, you don't know anything about it.
Well,
You've never been there.
Has it?
You've never. That's not any longer the actual. That's another 40-year-old rule.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. You can still be named a city without a cathedral. My bottom line is there are always nice people in every part of the world. Okay. However, what I'm telling you is based upon the fact that there were very many problems in Newport.
Right.
Now, they may have all been fixed for all I know. I'm just giving you my knowledge knowledge of them. And I don't know why you're trying to make it into some kind of crusade against Newport.
No, I'm not making any crusade.
You haven't been anywhere outside of Sutton and Gosport, the crime capital of Britain, for about 40 years.
I'm saying that anybody born into Newport, grew up in Newport, doesn't deserve the sort of harassment you've been giving the people.
I'm not harassing
anybody.
You talk to anyone who's been there rather than yourself, because you haven't been anywhere outside of your 2 homes, right?
Really?
And you'll find out the
truth.
What
about Nottingham?
What about Nottingham? You haven't been there for 45 years. You just told us.
Doesn't matter. I've been there, a university town. So they'll be dancing in the streets of Nottingham, dancing in the streets of Newport. Where else are they dancing in the streets of? Aston Villa didn't do too well, did they?
A note here from James, who's tweeted in at talkSPORT. Newport is the place you have to go to get a new passport if you live in the southwest. And he then describes what he thinks of it, which is a word I can't use on a family radio show.
Don't want that.
But he basically doesn't think it's very nice.
The local taxi firm in Newport, Porky, is called Red Dragon Taxis. That's good to know, isn't it?
Why do you need to know that?
Well, because I'm learning stuff now about Newport. Newport is a cathedral and university city and unitary authority area in South Wales.
Yes. Now, Jack says, Severn Bridge, ? Didn't you live in Wales when you worked there? I did not, Jack. No, I used to stay in hotels there. I used to stay in the Hilton in Cardiff. I'd sometimes stay in the St David's Spa Hotel down in Cardiff Bay as well. But I lived actually in Wiltshire, which is not very far away.
Yeah,
here's one from, where is it? Simon. Why don't you read the one out from Simon?
Simon says, gents, Newport is still a lawless dump. See, it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Well, I mean, he's telling the truth.
He says, I made a short film there in 2015. I was horrified by the state of the place. Also stayed at Celtic Manor several times, which is brilliant. And
hashtag gangs of Newport.
Gangs of Newport. That reminds you of the gangs of New York, doesn't it? You know,
it does.
A lawless
I think
environment.
That's why he said it. Yeah. And Luke says, I live in Newport, and it's still like that.
Still like what?
Well, presumably the way I described it. The funny thing about the Celtic Manor, I stayed in the Celtic Manor 1 or 2 times as well.
Yes.
I played golf there a few times. I stayed there once, right, and had reason to order room service while I was there. Because I was with somebody who I didn't want to leave the room from.
Yeah.
And ordered some food, including some garlic bread.
Oh yeah.
Right, and they rang up and they said, hello. And that was part of the problem with the Celtic Manor, because they had to recruit from Newport, right? So all the kids they recruited from Newport were these kind of oily-haired looking thugs.
Oh, so that's what Newport's full of, is it?
I'm just telling you that these are stories. Don't try and turn it into something that people are going to have a backlash against me on, okay? Because that's cruel and unusual and nasty, so don't do it.
No, okay.
Here's what the thing is, though.
I'm only quoting yourself.
No, but I'm not. I'm just describing things that I've seen, right? The truth, which I know is something alien to you.
Okay.
So anyway, they said, we haven't got any garlic bread.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you got a chef, haven't you? Oh, yes, we got a chef. I said, well, can't he make garlic bread? No, we've run out of it. I said, well, what do you mean you run out of garlic? How can you run out of garlic bread?
And a piece of garlic.
All you got to do is take some bread, right? Go and buy some garlic salt.
Yeah.
Put some butter on the bread. You know, sort of tip the garlic salt over it. Put it under the grill. That's garlic bread, the easy way. Oh no, we haven't got any bread. I'm like, it's a 5-star hotel.
Dear me.
It's about 7 o'clock at night. And unfortunately, you know, there were things that weren't right about the Celtic Manor.
Well, can I tell you, I've just remembered about the Celtic Manor. I knew there was something that had happened to me there.
You've just remembered?
Yeah.
What, you actually been there?
Yeah, I've been there, stayed there. And actually played 2 holes of golf there
as
well, yeah. And it's one of those places.
2 holes?
Yeah.
Which 2 did you play?
I don't know. I think we started at 10. I think we did 10, 11 and 12 or something like that.
Why did you only do that's 3?
I'm not sure. It was some sort of exhibition. It was...
it must have been. You were playing.
No, it was a promotion. It was, yeah, seriously. But I've just remembered what happened. Some of Al's mates turned up, that's right. And he once again gave my room away to a couple of his mates. And we'd all gone out and came back, you know, having a few more drinks in the bar.
Yes.
And then I went to reception to get my key. In those days, you held your key in before you went out. You know what I mean?
Did you?
Yeah.
I've never done that at the Celtic Manor.
Oh, well.
Yeah, give you a little card.
No, well,
they did
whatever.
Have a key.
Well, whatever, the card, the key, or whatever. And I said, you know, and they said, no, we haven't got your key. Your key's already been taken. I said, what do you mean? And I went up there and I couldn't get in, knocked on the door, and there were 2 people in there. And I said, what are you doing in my room? I said, it's not your room, it's our room. Alan Brazil gave it to us.
Okay.
Push off. So once again,
so you didn't stay there then?
I did stay there. Yeah, they found me another room.
Oh, okay.
But you know, it's not the first time that's happened to me. I was very generous with other people's rooms when his mates turn up.
Well, maybe you should stop hanging out with him.
Yeah,
How about this from QPR fan who says, "Who are you? Holloway could not get a result against the poor 19th in Division 1 MK Dons. We have not won an FA Cup game for 22 years."
Is that...
talkSPORT. We are the two mics. There is a Porky quiz coming up a little bit later on. We'll have a bit of a Porky sermon as well, because it is, of course, Sunday.
It is.
And for those who need a bit of spiritual guidance, many of you, of course, will need a bit of prayer and fasting to get the teams that have just been knocked out of the FA Cup back up for the Cup that they're going to play next week. Great tweet here from Matthew, who sent some tremendous pictures from going to see a band in Newport years and years ago. Popped over to Newport from Bristol to see Hole, which is Courtney Love's band, in December 1991 at the legendary indie music venue TJ's when I was 17. I turned around and found her suitor behind me. Legend has it that was the night he proposed to her in the club.
Really?
And there's a picture of Kurt Cobain, who was in Newport that night.
Oh,
because
golly,
Hole,
that's
of course,
amazing.
is Courtney Love's band.
He's the guy who did himself in the Viper Club, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, he shot himself in the head.
Oh, he shot himself in the head. Where was that? At home?
At his home in Seattle, I believe.
Okay, who was the one who was carried out of the Viper Club?
That was the guy who was, what's his name's brother.
Was it?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway, we'll get that later.
Corey somebody.
Yeah,
anyway, let's go to the phones. 08117 223344. Colin is a West Ham fan. Colin, very good evening to you, I should say.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, hi, Carl.
Best show on the planet, guys.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed. Now, you're a West Ham fan, but you've got a view on Newport, yeah?
I have, yeah, and you probably won't be too keen now. I was there a few months ago. I went to buy a guitar amp, right? And my God, what a place. I'll tell you what, when I got out of my car, it's a good job I look like the wild man of Borneo and stuff like that, because I have never seen such a rough place in my life.
Sorry,
right?
Cole, what would you do? Why were you in Newport?
You're a West Ham fan. Buying a guitar amp.
Yeah, but hang on. There's plenty of shops outside of Newport that sell guitar amps. Why did you go to Newport to buy a guitar amp?
Yeah, because I wanted a Laney hardcore amp, right? And and you know, some people flogging them off because I play Colts, AC/DC stuff, right? And
brilliant.
It was the right time. Yeah, exactly. And I like going to Newport. Oh, God. Well, you know, I'm sorry, Porky, but, I mean, most of the people I saw stood on street corners and all that, they all look like you.
What do you mean, look like me?
Excellent.
Well, they look like Porky. They sort of like all overweight and boozers.
Well, listen, I think we should get on to you being a West Ham fan. How is David Moyes treating you so far?
Lives in Newport, wants to tell us something about the town. Mark, a very good morning to you. Evening, I should say.
Hi, guys.
Hello, Mark.
First of all, I love you both. You're absolute legends.
That's very kind of you.
I echo that other caller. You're definitely the best show on radio.
Thank you.
I'm a lorry driver. I listen to a lot of radio.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm from Tenby, West Wales, but I've lived in Newport now for about the last 5 years.
Yes.
How's it going?
The only good thing about this place is there's a lot of work if you're a lorry driver.
Why? Because lots of people like to get out of there.
It's like, you know, the city centre, most of the shops have closed down now and they're boarded up. It's really quite depressing.
Isn't Tenby rather nice, where you come from?
Tenby's a lovely
place.
That's
lovely, yeah. Well, it's a very long way away, though.
I was going to say, why don't you go and live back there instead of living in, you know...
It's not that far away. It's only about an hour and a half in the car from Newport.
Yeah, okay. But is your lorry company based in Newport, is it?
Like, there's not much work in Tenby unless you're in the building or the catering trade, and I wasn't interested in either of them. So, and it's just seasonal Tenby. It's busy in the summer. It's dead in the winter. Everything shuts down.
Okay.
So yeah, I moved to Newport for work, and there's loads of work in Newport, loads of work in Bristol.
It's very handy for the M4 as well, isn't it? I mean, Ian has tweeted in. I've got to tell you, Mark, with this, which you might recognise. He says, "Evening, Mike and Mike. Memories of Newport, the cattle market, where we parked the lorry up. Strange women would knock on the door."
That's very true. Yeah, I know it well. Not for those reasons.
No, exactly.
In an area called Pill by the cattle market there, you've got this pub called the Church House. A lot of drivers like going there.
Yeah.
But the only downside to the place, in the middle of the night, your door's banging all night. You've got like ladies of the night, as you call them, banging on the door all the time. And,
what you mean, looking for some sort of business? You mean?
Yeah. These are not like
these
are not like the Heidi Fleiss types that used to hang around in Beverly Hills, by the way.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No, well, this is. I mean, you do know this is a family show, Mark, don't you?
Yeah, please.
And you're imparting all this, you know, rather dodgy information about Newport.
Well, it's rather quite sad because, like, they knock your door, you open your curtain, tell them to go away, and they're young girls. You can see they're on drugs, and you really feel quite sorry for them.
No, that's a social problem. It's a social problem we've got to get to grips with. I'm telling you. But Mark, what about the club itself? I mean, they've had a great victory today, so isn't that going to lift the town a bit? And are they down dancing in the streets at the moment?
I'm actually a Liverpool supporter, and I actually went to the derby the other night. But anyway, though, I did watch the I did watch the Newport game tonight, and yeah, it was a bit boring starting off, but fair play, the way they won the game at the end, it was really good.
It was spectacular.
So
you must have enjoyed beating Everton, Mark.
Oh yeah, it was superb. Yeah,
he thought he'd just get that in, you know.
Oh,
just
you
haven't
mentioned it. I haven't mentioned it.
I was just fuming about that game, about the way that Holgate behaved. I mean, that was dangerous. But
there are consequences to that, aren't there? Which are now being investigated by the Premier League.
Yeah, the way he manhandled the ref, though, as well. I mean, he could have got 2 or 3 red cards in that game, what would given the penalty away as well.
Well, as I say, it seems to be, you know, though there are issues there involved which are now being investigated, so I think we should wait until the investigation's taken place, really, before we make judgments.
Porky suddenly had an attack of the fears he's about talking about something that hasn't yet been decided. We shall see, Mark. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Coming up next...